Hi, welcome to James Miller Lifeology, where you will learn to simplify and transform your life. I am James Miller, a licensed professional counselor and a composer. I wanted to go over in this particular episode the question, what is my role? So in the last few episodes, we've reviewed kind of our perception or our belief, how it determines what we feel, our feelings, and determine what we do. And then yesterday's episode, we went over the 15 different templates that we use, kind of the perception, which then causes us to feel a certain way, causes us to do something. So that's the behavioral manifestation of these things. But what we don't often realize is we put ourselves in these positions that we use one of these templates. We often think we're very good at multitasking, but unfortunately, we're really not. Research shows that less than 2% of people can actually multitask in the way that we really think that we can. So unfortunately, we're not. Majority of us are not in that less than 2% of people. I know I'm not. I'd like to think I am, but I'm not. So let's talk about this. So I'm sure many of you have gone out with friends and you're at dinner and you're trying to talk to them, and all of a sudden someone pulls up their phone and they're texting and trying to carry on a conversation with you, and you're deep into talking with them, but they're texting away, and it's very frustrating, right? So clearly one of those thinking errors you'd slap on there because it's really annoying when people do that. But what we don't realize is that if multitasking isn't really possible for the majority of people and behaviors, then why do we multitask the roles we play per day? So let's think about this. So you're at work. So when you're at work, you're an employee, you're a coworker, you probably have some friends there, some work friends, but you're also maybe a spouse, you're also a parent, you're also a friend. So we have all these different roles that we play at any given time. But what we don't realize is if we're playing more roles than once, and we superimpose them. So let's say I'm a supervisor. So I'm talking to a subordinate of mine who actually is a friend of mine. But if I'm talking to that subordinate in my professional role, but they're talking to me as a friend role, well, those are two different roles, and that's a form of multitasking. So if I'm trying to talk to someone one way, but play another role, then I'm linking my thoughts, the way this persona of myself is the friend, then I'm linking my thoughts as the supervisor, and those just don't jive together. So if we know multitasking doesn't work in behaviors, it's not going to work in the roles that we play per day. You're with your children, and you're trying to do work. You can't give all your attention to your children because you're trying to do work. So the whole thing that really happened when the smartphones were released, it revolutionized how we engage with work and how we engage in life. We're always attached to our devices. We're always attached to our phones. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But the point is, when you do too many roles at once, our brains and our emotions are not capable of keeping things compartmentalized. Compartmentalizations, putting things in their own compartment, is one of the most important things that we need to do. So I really challenge you to think about it. What role are you playing? We know that driving and texting obviously is illegal, but it doesn't work. Having too many roles when you are in life is not going to work. So I really challenge you to ask yourself, what am I doing? Who am I right now? So right now as I'm talking to you, I'm James the clinician or James the YouTuber. And I'm not James the friend. I'm not James the whatever. So my role is I have to say, what is my job description? My job description right now as a person speaking is someone who's going to speak to you as a professional, someone who's going to speak to you as the expert, who's going to convey to you that which is important. So I'm not on my phone. I'm not with my friends. I'm not laughing and joking with my friends in a way that I may do, obviously, with them, that I'm not necessarily going to do here. Same thing when you are at work. What is your job description? What does it entail? What does your job description entail when you're with your spouse, your significant other? What is your job description when you are with your friends? What's your job description when you're at church? What's your job description when you're at the gym? So whatever those things may be, we have to really be mindful to stay present in the moment for whatever the job description entails in that particular moment. You bring in other job descriptions, and you're going to find that your perception and your emotions and your actions are not going to be sufficient or not going to be always appropriate or the healthiest they can be because we're multitasking the different roles we're playing. So multitasking, once again, does not work with behaviors, and therefore it's not going to work with the roles we play. So I really challenge you to be mindful. Even as you're sitting here listening to this, are you doing other things? Are you the listener? Are you the multitasker with the different roles you're playing? Are you multitasking with your phones or with other things? Once again, there's nothing wrong with that, but the whole point of this channel is to simplify and transform your life, but it's also creating an awareness. With awareness, we then have choices. We can do the same exact thing, but we have a different awareness or different motivation for why we do it. I may yell at someone because I'm being reactive, or I may yell at someone because that's what I need to do to stop myself from being in danger. It's the same behavior, but my motivation is different. One is reactive and one is proactive. So once again, the whole aspect of this particular channel today, or this episode today, is to really help you recognize that when you have too many roles at once, it's not going to work. So what I challenge you to do is, if you're with friends and spouses or whomever, and you have multiple roles, you tell them which role and which you're speaking. So if I'm with a friend and I'm also their boss, I will say, well, I'm going to talk to you as a friend right now, because I've then created that environment that says, okay, James, the friend, is going to talk to you. Or if I'm their boss at that moment, I'll say, all right, I'm going to talk to you as my boss, or as the boss right now. Or when you're with your spouse, you can say, I'm talking to you as a spouse, or I'm going to talk to you as a parent. So, if you have children. So you want to really move the conversation, and so the person can move with you and understand what the expectation is, as opposed to, I'm talking to my friend who is also my subordinate, and I'm talking as a boss, and they're talking to me as a friend. Well, that's not going to work, and feelings are going to get hurt, and the friend will be like, why are you talking to me like this? And I'm like, well, why aren't you doing your job? And so you really have to create an environment which allows people to know which direction you're going. You really have to compartmentalize what is the role you're playing right now. So the more you're aware of it and you speak to the people around you, what you're specifically doing, the more successful you will be with your interactions. And the less likely you will be to use one of these 15 thinking errors that we talked about in our last episode. So thank you so much for joining today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.